I promise you've never seen a super yacht like this. Seawolf X, like her namesake, prowls quietly through the waves. No howling diesel engines, no smoke, no vibration, just the gentle swish of waves against the hulls. Rossinavi's 43-metre hybrid Megacat has capabilities that are normally the preserve of sailing super yachts, in that she can run in near total silence. In fact, this is a motor yacht whereby the noisiest piece of machinery might actually be in the galley and not in the engine room. But don't let the ecotech fool you. The luxuries are bountiful. A 70 square metre owner's cabin, a hot tub that reveals itself from the foredeck, and a spa down here that connects directly out onto the bathing platform. And in this video, we're not only going to tour one of the most revolutionary super yachts that have been launched in the last decade, we're going to take it for a sea trial as well. I'm Jack Haynes, you're watching YachtBuyer. Seawolf X is a yacht that defies convention. Launched in 2024, her design, though radical, offers myriad benefits beyond a profile that is part rolling wave, part breaching dolphin. Constructed from aluminium, her multi-hull design, with a length overall of 42.8 metres and a beam of 13.8 metres, creates a remarkable amount of internal volume for these dimensions. At 499 gross tonnes, she has around 100 gross tonnes more than an equivalent monohull. This beam spread across two relatively standard hulls makes her stable too, so she runs without active stabilisation such as a gyroscope or fins. No stabilisers means less noise, less power consumed, and less to go wrong. Preservation of power is a fundamental principle on which Seawolf X is built and run. As well as the solar panels and 1.5 megawatts of battery power, the yacht uses artificial intelligence to help the crew run the systems as efficiently as possible. There's plenty of time to get into the technical stuff later. Now you've had time to drink in this yacht's extraordinary exterior design, let's have a look on board. Seawolf X is currently on the market with Christie Yachts. If you'd like more information about the yacht, follow the link in the description to the video. This being a multi-hull, there are some unique design elements that you don't face with the monohull. Of course, you have this raised hump, a tunnel running the entire length of the boat. So when it comes to things like tender handling, you're going to be doing that alongside. She runs with a Sachs 15-metre chase boat. There's also a Castaldi jet tender that lives on board. Shell door on the port side, so that's stowed inside a garage just here. But I really like this central raised hump. It's like a built-in diving board, the perfect place to drop down into the water. There's a ladder extender in this central section as well to make life a bit easier when you're getting back on board. And what's really nice is how they've integrated the spa into the aft end of the starboard hull. Let's have a close look. Now, I think this is actually a really smart piece of design. It's almost like it's been perfectly engineered to fit a sauna, and a decent sized sauna at that as well. Hot stones and everything. There's a nice view out of there too. But the other good thing about this area is you have a day head. So if people are swimming, using the water toys, using inflatables, they can come out of the water, use the facilities as all nice teak line floor, and then back into the water without having to go into the boat. Pretty cool, huh? And if you want more all access area tours like this, make sure you subscribe, hit subscribe, and that bell icon, you'll never miss one. Right, onto the cockpit. I'm not sure if this is design or coincidence, but a lot of the surfaces that are alongside stairways where you can help yourself up are teak and not stainless steel. And the crew will appreciate that, because if this is stainless, every time some hands go on it, they're going to have to polish it. Not the case with it all being wood. And you see that all over the boat. Quite clever. Now, going to come back to that word beam. It really slaps you in the face here in the cockpit. This space is just enormous, and it gives them lots of luxury to use the space very nicely indeed. You've got mirrored seating areas either side of the hot tub, one of two hot tubs on board, but this is lovely looking out over the water. You combine it with the spa, the water toys, the tenders. This is a place where you feel like people are just going to gravitate towards, and it's a very important space in terms of al fresco dining as well, because it's really the only place you can do it formally anyway. But it's a really good size. You can see this is a good sized table, but there's plenty of space around it. Very, very well protected from the overhang and also from the breeze. It's all well and good dining on a sun deck, but often they're quite breezy. Here, fully protected on what is quite a breezy day today. I really like the way they've integrated the furniture too, how this is built in, but this is freestanding, so you can move it around. Equal access down to the bathing platform as well. It's just a very, very welcoming, inviting space in the day and the evening as well. Of course, there's much more deck spaces to enjoy, including that incredible foredeck. But before that, let's head up the staircase and take a look at the sun deck. Now, we've seen solar panel integration on boats before, smaller production boats in fact. The issue those boats have is the space on board and where to put them. Not such a problem on a 43-metre multi-hull. This has got nearly 1,700 square feet of solar panels producing 16 kilowatts of power. To put that in context, a Greenline 42 produces 4 kilowatts of power. Though looking at our pot plants here, I suggest that maybe a wind turbine would be a bit more useful on a day like today. Now, with dining handled downstairs, that means the sun deck can all be about lounging around. Look at this lovely seating here. Low slung, comfortable, informal. You can move these ones around a bit, and then you have the fixed sunbathing space. So if you want to capture some sun in your own solar panel, you can do that back here, free of the coverage of the hardtop. And then we come to a real focal point of this deck, this lovely bar. Up a couple of steps, 10 bar stools arranged around the side so the guests can come up here and get together, have a drink, have a chat, taking the view as well. This is the highest point of the boat, so the views up here are absolutely lovely. It's a real sort of sociable, heart of the boat type feel here. And look at that, the crew have even left me a little cocktail to sample. Let's see. Zesty. Onto the foredeck. It's so clever how well the sun deck connects the side deck through this gap in the superstructure, and there are wing stations in this area on both sides. We're going to talk to the captain later on about what it's like to actually handle this thing, but if they're manoeuvring in and out of a berth, they're probably going to be doing it from one of the 2 wing stations. Now, it's all well and good having this sort of eco-focus on a yacht like this, but it cannot compromise the guest experience by, for example, covering the decks in solar panels. Well, Seawolf X has a great solution for that. Pretty cool, huh? Let's have a look. So this just feels like a real bonus extra living area, and this structure is so clever. Obviously, it's clever how it covers this space, but then when it's up, it's not just redundant. It's finished in wood. It's got some lovely lighting in it. There's a TV that swings down as well. Obviously, the hot tub, like the one at the back, you can fill this in about 20 minutes. It's heated too, and you've got a great view here too, over that bow, through the glass balustrade, all fringed with seating. So it's a nice living area, even if you don't want to be inside the tub. Speakers up here as well. It's a really cool living space. In an evening, when you want a bit of breeze on a warmer day than this would be a lovely place to be. And of course, these aren't the conditions you want to be in the hot tub. However, last night we got some great shots of it in the sort of weather where you would be. Let's have a look. Cool, let's check out the interior. What the width has allowed the interior designers to do is come up with quite a novel arrangement here. On a 40-metre monohull, you'd probably expect the dining space to be forward and the lounging area to be aft of it. On this boat, they have the space to put them side by side, which works so nicely. It feels much more informal and sociable, and they're segregated by this central section, which includes a pop-up TV. The interior design was done by a firm called Mayor Davis. They normally do residential stuff. They've done one hotel in South Beach, for example, and you can feel that pedigree throughout. There's some really lovely detailing. It's sort of fun and informal, but yeah, the detail is lovely. I really like this table here. You can feel the grain. High gloss tables look great, but they don't feel all that usable. And even with the seating, you've got this mix of the armchairs plus benches on both sides. And the lighting's lovely too. These 2 big boxes that diffuse light so softly over the dining table and the lounging space. And what's really nice is you can get up from dinner, wander over here, and just settle down to these big squishy sofas, pop the TV up and watch a film. It's really, really nicely done. And you're still very well connected to the dining space, but nice that you can segregate it off as well. Now, of course, being a multi-hull, the interior layout is a bit different too. So these staircases lead down to the guest accommodation. We're going to go there later on. On the main deck, on the port side, you have the galley. That's up here on the main deck. And then right forward, we have the owner's cabin. This is all storage space, and it's really handily located. This is all things like table dressings, linens, that sort of stuff, close to the table, where it's actually going to be used both inside and out in the cockpit. And if we move forward down the starboard side, well, we get to the owner's cabin, and it's pretty special. There is a day head on this deck as well. That's in there on the starboard side. And then we arrive at the owner's quarters, because, I mean, it's much more than a cabin. It's actually a few different rooms that can all be segregated off. The first one is this beautiful study area. I love the detail on super yachts. The owners even got their own Seawolf X stationery. Pretty nice, huh? Storage up here, and then nice sofa as well. And look at this view. You're sitting down on this sofa. You have got a wonderful view out over the water. And that's only the beginning. It is pretty spectacular in here. Of course, this takes up the full beam as well. So there is loads and loads of floor space, and they use glass very cleverly on the sides, as we've just seen, but also this lovely skylight as well, which just drenches the bed in natural light. There is, of course, a blind that pulls across to give you a bit of privacy. But come and check out this bathroom. How about this? Again, it's the connection to the water. Even here, I've got this view on this side. I look across the cabin, I can still see water over there as well. The connection to the sea in here is just fantastic. And again, look at this detailing. This is all hewn from one slab of marble. These twin sinks, gorgeous. And you've got separate shower and toilet cubicles behind. But there's more, because forward of that, talk about walk-in wardrobe. Full-on walk-in dressing room. And the bureau, again, it's the way they manipulate the views. What a place to sit and just stare, or do some work, or do your makeup. Plenty of options, but yeah, it's lovely. Cool to the touch as well. And plenty of storage for all your clothes here. And as I said, these can all be closed off in the cabin if you want them to be. And look at this. You've got little viewing areas on both sides. Starboard side, here on the port side, so I can see through to the nets, the hulls, to the anchor. I love that you get that little peep through to the bow from inside your cabin. But there's more, even more. TV mounted up in this bulkhead. And there are very few yachts of this size where you're going to have a gym inside the cabin. It may have a gym somewhere, but it's unlikely to be joined to the owner's cabin. And look, it's small, but you know, it's pretty good. You've got your bike, running machine, sunken into the floor. Headroom here as well, so when you're running, you're not going to crack your head. And again, you got a view from here. It's really, really nicely done. And there's one lovely little last feature that I must show you. And this is another benefit of the multi-hull design. Let's step outside. There are playful touches all over Seawolf X, but this area might take the biscuit. This, of course, is a working area for the crew. We've got mooring gear down here, but it's also the owner's Hammock Lounge. What do we call it? Now, this is either going to be outtake gold or smooth as silk. Let's find out. Whee! Whoa! We'll go with the latter. Oh, how about that? Just me, my thoughts, and the sound of lapping waves. Let's go and check out the guest accommodation. We're about to head down to the lower deck, so let's take another quick look at the deck plan, shall we? So down there, mainly guest accommodation, crew accommodation forward too. We're going to go there afterwards, don't worry. In the port side hull, there's a double and a twin. On the starboard side, you've got two identical doubles. A smart feature of the guest accommodation is that all of the cabins can be switched between doubles and twins, which gives you excellent flexibility for the sleeping arrangements, especially when it comes to charter operations. And we're going to start by having a look down there. Here's another nice touch. As you descend these stairs, you trigger a sensor, and there you go. The lights come on automatically to guide your way down to the lower deck. Now on this side, two identical doubles. So I'll only show you one of them, but they are exactly the same. And they're very nicely done indeed. Again, multi-hull configuration, so a slightly different arrangement to a monohull, whereby the bed sort of extends across the cabin, but it works really well. The cabinetry up here, which includes all your storage, a nice bureau with a huge mirror, nicely backlit as well, and again, a lovely use of materials, textures, colours, things like these bedside lamps. Really, really nice. And you've got a good view as well. It's that connection to the sea that I talked about in the owner's cabin. You still have that down here. So a nice view out over the water from inside this cabin. Multi-hull means plenty of freeboard. So really good headroom inside these spaces. And they've all got private bathrooms. And they're cleverly done because you can partition these off. But if you open this door up, it just opens up the space a bit more. Doesn't feel too enclosed when you've got this solid border. You can open it up if you want to. Use the sink. There's a shower over on this side, and of course a toilet behind a solid door over here. Very nicely done. Let's check out the portside deck. Again, this deck, forward we have another really nicely appointed double cabin, very similar to the ones over there actually. This one's a bit different though. This is a twin, but it also has a Pullman bunk, so you can drop this down to add another berth in here, giving you a little bit more flexibility when it comes to sleeping space. Nice, you can walk between the berths. There's space on the other side of this one. This all looks very similar to the other cabins. You've got the same bureau, your storage. In fact, the bathroom is pretty much identical. Very beautifully done as ever. And then we have that lovely connection to the water that I keep talking about. But you can just imagine you've crept somewhere silently overnight. You wake up, open your blind, and there's your view. It's lovely. And I mentioned this AI system that the boat uses to try and run it as efficiently as possible. Now, often that's just running in the background, telling the crew if maybe there's a spike in power use, advising them essentially on how to run the boat as efficiently as possible. But it also imposes itself physically now and then. So, for example, if it sensed that I'd left this cabin, I'd walked out with all the lights on and the aircon on and things like that, blinds open, it will automatically sense that, close the blinds to stop the sun from blaring in, helping the air conditioning, turn all the lights off, and do it all automatically without the crew having to do it. Pretty clever, huh? Right, talking to crew, let's head to their accommodation. So access to the crew space internally is through this sliding door here, and the first place we come to is the galley where I think Chef is knocking something up, so let's have a look. It's a main deck galley here on Seawolf X, and most of the equipment is here. You can see we've got all the fridge space behind me, oven over there, hob there with a little window above, so Chef's got a nice view out, and Aidan's going to be a busy man because this boat can hold up to 12 guests, plus of course 9 crew, and he's got to cook for everybody. So this is really a hive of activity. And well, we've got something absolutely lovely looking here. Can I have a taste? Oh, yeah. Delicious. Let's check out the crew quarters. Right, the crew accommodation, the layout down here, there are 4 cabins in total, 3 bunks and then a private captain's cabin. And the nice thing about it being a multi-hull is it benefits the crew as well, because look at this enormous mess space. Trust me, for a boat of this length, this is really very generous because this area spans both hulls. So they have this really nice big dining table in the middle, large TV behind, and then these screens so that they can monitor what's going on around the boat, both the systems and the cameras. And these cameras can be moved. You can change camera. You can also change the angles. They can really easily look around the boat from down here. Main galley is just up that staircase, but actually they've got pretty good facilities down here as well. Sink, dishwasher, there's a microwave and more fridge space on top of the chest freezer that the chef mentioned too. Laundry space, very important on a yacht like this. Again, pretty good for a yacht of this size. And they've actually cleaned up 1 cabin for us to have a look at. Let's go down to the porthole and take a look. We're walking towards the point of the bow in the portside hull now. This is the captain's cabin in here, and having these long passageways does make it feel like you're getting a bit more space. And crucially, they put hooks here so you can hang clothes up. Really, really helpful for the crew to have as much hanging space as possible for their own clothes. Cabin itself, headroom's really good. Again, we've got the multi-hull freeboard that the crew get to enjoy as well. So there's good space for the bunks. They're not crammed on top of each other, and there's some natural light coming in too. Little desk down here, more storage up on this side, and of course a private bathroom right forward. And from the crew area, you can really easily get up to the bridge. So let's head there and have a chat with the captain, David. Well, we're here on the bridge with the captain, David. Thanks very much for having us on board. It's been great learning about Seawolf X over the last day or so. I think the first thing to clear up is this does not have a traditional propulsion system. On a boat this size, you'd expect to have a couple of big diesel engines. That's not the case on Seawolf X. So maybe just first of all explain about how her propulsion and energy management system works.
Yeah, of course. So the boat itself is propelled by 2 electrical driven motors, which is very unconventional, both of which are running through 2 huge lithium-ion power banks, so battery banks, which then are charged by our diesel generators, 400 kilowatts on each side. And the whole idea behind the propulsion is to be able to store your power and manage it in a very efficient way. At 8 knots, we can run 6 hours silent just on battery power, and we can stay with all hotel services running for 10 to 15 hours on an anchorage.
And I think that's a really key point, because you might think that tech sounds great, but what is the guest benefit? Are they really going to notice the difference? But there's a big difference being on a boat that's not running generators, and maybe stabilizers doesn't need stabilizers either, so you haven't got the noise of those wearing away. So I guess the silence when you're moving, but also hotel load as well isn't producing any noise either.
No, exactly. Everything has been fine-tuned to reduce any kind of pollution, whether it's emissions, noise pollution, as well as waste. Even when we do produce waters, what you usually have is high-pressure power pumps, high-pressure pumps, all these very noisy. All our systems have been adapted to basically create a zero-noise environment. This is essentially a comfort class vessel, which means that if the guests were to wake up in the night, we could be fully underway with all hotel systems running and they wouldn't even notice. So absolutely silent.
And how does she feel from up here on the bridge in comparison to a more traditional propelled vessel? You've got your twin throttles. It all looks pretty familiar, but in terms of actually handling it, how does it feel?
It all looks the same, to be fair. I mean, obviously this has got a plier beam to it, almost 14 meters across, so that the boat is its own stabilizer essentially. As far as the bridge is concerned, it's identical. If anything, it's more maneuverable. You never have to worry about taking on too much lean as you're taking a turn, because she just won't turn over. Yeah. So it's very responsive in the way it drives. As for maneuvering in and out of port, side to, stern to, and it also has more benefits than your normal yacht, because this distance between the propellers, which means your pivot points are very acute, very accurate, very responsive. So overall, the power is not needed, and there's not necessarily need for excessive power and horsepower on a boat like this, simply because of the water you're displacing. The hulls are very thin, very shallow, and very fine. So no need to go crushing a big amount of hull through your water. Yeah.
You've got your twin throttles there. You're still maneuvering it like you would traditionally, but they're connected to electric motors rather than the diesel engines.
Exactly. Yeah. The only difference, something to get used to, is that you can't hear a gearbox going in and out of gear. This is completely silent, so you've always got to be a bit wary about whether you're in forward or reverse. You tend to catch you off guard, but other than that, it's very responsive.
And you've got a bow thruster as well?
2 bow thrusters, so one on each hull, and they're retractable, obviously to reduce the drag underway.
Yeah.
They disappear into the hull. And yeah, I mean, we've operated with 1 or 2, and depends. I've never had any issues with any weather. The boat's not got a huge air draft, so that's much away.
Low.
She's very slick, she's very low. So maneuvering is not a problem.
And we don't often get to, talk to captains in this environment. So we should see this kind of equipment quite a lot when we do these tours, but maybe you could talk through, the screens you've got here, what you have on your screen when you're running, and, this sort of information is being fed back to you and how you like to have it set up.
Sure. And so this boat is fully paperless boat, so no navigation charts required. So usually we'll operate with 2 ECDIS systems. Right now we're paired with a Time Zero and Furano ECDIS. Right, this does all our chart management and chart plotting. 2 radars up on the mast. We can choose whether to have one or the other. We're at anchor right now, so I like to see what's going on ahead of me. This is looking up through the FLIR cameras, and then obviously the CCTV, which I can keep an eye on the engine rooms and all around the boat. The imagery on the cameras is incredible. It's very high tech pictures. So, and this is a huge advantage to have when you've got such a shallow width of window out here, but it's excellent. Picks up infrared, it picks up everything. So
that's night vision as well.
It's a night vision camera, yeah, and she's on a 360 and so you have to look all around the boat. Yeah. And then obviously behind us is all the power management system. Yeah. So this is more integrated for the engine room. It does all your lighting, all your tag monitoring, all your power management. I can monitor the battery charging and all that. And the boat is very, very clever in the way it's been put together. Very analog is almost gone out the window now. Everything has been digitalized. Yeah, and it's very well done. It's almost manages itself.
Well, we talked about technical spaces, and the next place we're going to go to is the engine room. Let's head there. Right, engine room access. Of course, we've got 2 engine rooms because it's a multi-hull. We're going to look in the starboard side one. but they're pretty much identical. Now that hybrid system is relatively complicated, but actually the machinery is quite simple. First of all, the engineer doesn't have a pair of big diesel engines to look after. You've got two solid state electric motors, very few moving parts and things to go wrong in them. You've got two generators that are going to take a fair bit of maintenance. You've got 1.5 megawatts of battery power as well. But look at the space you get too, because these areas aren't being gobbled up by those huge main engines. Plenty of space to work in here, space around the generator. Headroom is absolutely ridiculous. And remember, because you haven't got stabilizers, less to go wrong there as well. Quite clever, really. The key thing about a project like Seawolf X is that the ambitions of the project don't override the guest experience. And actually, if anything, I think what they've done here through the propulsion system, the very nature, the concept of what this thing is designed to do, actually heightens the guest experience. Being on board Seawolf X is an experience like no other. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember, she is for sale with Christie Yachts. I'll put more information in the description of this video. Thanks so much for watching that tour of Seawolf X. I hope you enjoyed it. Give the video a like and remember to subscribe if you've not done so already. If you want more solar powered catamaran content, well, we've done a couple of sunroofs in that vein. Watch those up there. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jack Haynes. This is YachtBuyer.